All right, are you guys ready for Patreon number 7? I believe this is 7. I hope this is 7. Anyway, let's go draw a phoenix. All right, it is time for the next Patreon. So this time we are doing a phoenix. Ooh, I know. So we have the perfect flower. Color-wise, it'll be different. However, we are doing the Ember Blossom Phoenix. And I already looked up the flower to see what it looked like. So that's kind of what we have. And then it had a few different like color options. So there's this one called Night Embers. So it's pink with a light purple. So I decided to put gray in there. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put gray as the main color. Pink will be the secondary. And then light purple is going to be the third. So it still kind of has, so it's almost like a normal phoenix, even though the colors aren't necessarily correct. But if you think about like the red's gonna be your darkest, so the gray would be the darkest. Then you got your pink, so like orange is the mid-tone, and then light purple and yellow are your lighter ones. So this actually kind of works. So, I mean, I guess we're used to seeing kind of like a phoenix rise from the ashes, right? So we have this option. Ooh, it could, do I want to have it coming from the, ooh, maybe we could have it coming from flowers, possibly. That might be kind of fun. Maybe with a field. I kind of like that. Maybe like start of a new day or something, just to kind of help with that aspect of it rising. I think would be a lot of fun. And then obviously the petals will be part of the feathers, and then the hair, like the feather things I have up here, and the tail might just be elongated petals. I think would be good, and also just the feathers themselves would be like little miniature petals pretty much. So we'll have just like open area, pretty much open area. I think that would look pretty good to do it that way. So now for the colors, I need a pink. I like purple. And a gray. All right, so these are what I will kind of sketch it out with. So I said gray. So I almost kind of want the tips of all the feathers to be the pink and the purple, I think would be good. Sorry, it keeps blurring out. I keep looking down and it's just blurring, and I'm not happy about that. So like even the feathers, so just more like the base of them, not feathers, flowers. So the base would be the gray. So it'll be something like this. And then we'll have pink, I think will be the tips here. So we'll this. And I think the very ends of the wings will be the pink. And then the purple could be the beak and the legs. Finish it off in here, and then like inside would be there. So something like that. I think that will look kind of cool and just like interesting take on like a phoenix. So kind of want obviously green because it's a field of sorts, I think makes sense. Right. And then now for the background, let me take an orange, yellow. I think I kind of want to have a dark blue at the very top. And I'll leave out the red for now. So, feel like yellow. Orange. So I could keep the colors kind of light, I suppose. Like going all through here. And then blue. Oh, I think I did that backwards. I think this needs to be blue, orange, yellow. Am I dumb? I'll have to think about that. I might be dumb. We'll see. But I also kind of want to have some brown back here for kind of like a mountainy area of sorts. So I think that is what we will work with. So that should be, I also, oh well. So I think that's what we'll do, is we'll just do this. I think it makes sense. And let's get going. When the world grows tired of burning, the Emberbloom Phoenix is born. Unlike the fire phoenixes of old, who rose in ash and destruction, the Emberbloom Phoenix ignites in petals. Her wings are layered with glowing blossoms, each one blooming in a different stage of flame. As she flies, petals drift down, not as sparks, but as warm seeds that cool the ground where they land. The Emberbloom Phoenix does not burn what is broken. She burns what no longer serves. Legend says she appears at life thresholds, the end of a long season, a quiet grief, or the moment before courage returns. When she sings, her voice is not loud. It sounds like wind moving through flowers at dawn. Those who follow the Emberbloom Phoenix through their dreams often wake with clarity, a sense of release, a heart and softened heart, and a renewed direction. When the phoenix completes its cycle, she does not turn to ash. She folds inward, petals closing, light dimming, and becomes a single glowing seed. That seed waits, and when the world is ready again, it blooms into flame. So, not quite your average phoenix, but that's what makes her fun and interesting. Also, we haven't even gotten to the coloring part though, but I just have to say, her colors, probably one of the most favorite things I have ever made before, and you will see why, because she turned out so good. But that's her drawing. So kind of a basic looking bird, I suppose. This is not the coloring portion I'm talking about, you'll see. But it's just the petals are kind of weird, and plus she has feathers, so obviously like the longer feathers aren't gonna really coordinate into petals unless I made them a lot shorter. But I have a thing where I like drawing large wings, so that is what I did. And her tail feathers and the head feathers were based off the inside of the flower. I don't know what that part's called, but like where the nectar is, that's what I was basing them off of, and they're like long and thin. So that's also what I wanted to do here. But I also like drawing really long tails, so of course I had to do that. Plus these are tail feathers, so it's a little bit different. But it's alright. And like I said, I was doing like a sunrise type of thing, kind of like being reborn with the new day. So, which is weird for me because I don't really do a whole lot of this. It's just the markers don't really show that, but when we get to the pencil, it does. I'm so excited for the pencil, you'll have no idea, because I'm like, this is where it actually really started coming together. But for now, it works. I just thought it would kind of make sense for her being like, that's what they represent, right? Is like just being reborn, renewed, something new type of thing. So by having that new day, it made sense for what she was to have it incorporated with that, because it just works naturally. I didn't really do like put flowers necessarily like front and center with this. It just didn't make sense because she is flying. So I feel like having them in there like I normally do, but more towards the background, made more sense for this. Now, that's just me. And then like for the way I was doing her coloring, because obviously it's gray, but like I said, like with it kind of matching the red, I wanted to have that pink and purple kind of coming out, just kind of, I don't want to say like a flame, but like a burst of light, like in color, because it actually does work kind of that way, especially with the pink, because the pink is definitely more vibrant than the purple, even though purple is kind of like a lilac color. But it's just obviously because the sun's behind her and such, so it's gonna be darker looking at us. Kind of in this like the shading and stuff, but that was just my idea, was just having a nice burst of color as well, because like a phoenix also resemble, flame is part of what kind of makes a phoenix, like when you think of phoenix flame, right? Because it's reborn from the ashes. Okay, here's the part. This is it. Are you ready? Oh my gosh. Bam. Okay, do you see? I know you don't see the entire thing, but do you see what I am talking about? I said, oh my gosh. Like, just looking at it, like, these aren't even my favorite colors, okay? Mine are like black and green, right? But the way these colors turned out, I am an absolute like love with. I'm like, these look fantastic. But like I said, I think it's definitely the pink because it's so bright and it's so light that it helps. But it just turned out so good. I was like, and plus mixing it in with that yellow. And I was using a vermilion in there as well, just to kind of in between, which I think having that vermilion in there did help with the effect I have with this. And just like the in-between layer of being the yellow and the red with the other colors, I think helps having that just as a buffer. So it just works. But just OMG, like I love the way she turned out. Not necessarily the background, which is meh. It's meh. But it's just her herself. I'm just like, oh, she is my favorite. She's definitely like coloring wise for sure my favorite one I have ever done. And I'm getting on to almost doing these for a year now. Like I'm pretty sure this is number 7. So I'm getting there. But she is definitely color wise my favorite. But yeah, so I just wanted to have her just flying up, just kind of giving that like reborn aspect, just new day, just popping up. There's like no ashes or anything around her, but still just flying up, welcoming a new day. Because every day you can kind of, in a way, be reborn, I suppose, with being able to do something different, trying something different. Hey, I want to do this tomorrow. Let me actually go ahead and just do it. Because you know how some things take 5 minutes or 2 minutes and we think they take forever and they don't? And they really do take 5 minutes. So it's also just that idea of like, okay, so this, like, put a timer on how long did this actually take me. Really not that long, and you're like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. So that's why it's just kind of like a renewed thought and a renewed sense of, it might take me this long, but if it's what I have to work on all day, it's what it is. If it's something I can do in 5 minutes, let's just get it done. Because again, some things do really take just 5 minutes. We just drag it out because we don't want to do it. But I just thought it'd be kind of nice. And plus she's a singer as well, so having her beak open kind of like, I know you can't tell she's necessarily like singing, but just kind of giving that sense of it, I think also helps. Again, just the welcoming feel and just like singing to the flowers and like everything else. I know like, I think that's what the saying is, right? Is that when you play music to flowers, it helps them grow. That's also kind of what's going on here. But it just works out so well. And I'm like, OMG. It turned out really nice. So I'm a fan. And it was kind of interesting on her head, me trying to like do the shading and such, but I figured it out. Kind of. It's not perfect, but nothing I do ever is, so it's okay. But I was trying to work it out the best I could with where the lighting would be. But I didn't want to make her like super dark either because I wanted to give you like, show her colors and her features. So I was kind of having to work with what I had and trying my best here. And I did use purple for shading for quite a bit of this because I kind of thought, I think it's also what helped too was just having that purple in there. It just kind of helped to add to the colors. Okay, so that's the finished pencil. Like I said, just I love it. I love it. I love it. So now we're on to the line art and we're going to finish her up here. So closing, well, that's not closing, but I just want to say that I do have more of these companions I've done. I have a little playlist. They're for Patreon. That's the only place that you can actually get them from is Patreon. They're only downloads. Starting with this one, I'm only going to have 3 downloads per drawing now, per character. And this is her end. Just so you're aware, so you get line art, print, and creature lore cards depending on what tier you're on. It will be stated. And I have other fantasy things. I have a whole bunch of comics. I currently have 11. I will be starting 13 at some point. I will have 2 more I've already come up with that I'm going to be doing. So I have those. I do a bunch of fantasy, dinosaur, that kind of thing. And if you want to stay up to date on everything that's happening as it happens, you can also subscribe to my email list. You can go to my website, and it's at the very bottom. you can sign up. But with that, I want to thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!